Hey guys, Dusty here. Today I have yet another On review, this time the Cloudrunner 2. Now, the second version of the shoe has seen some pretty big changes from the first version, most notably a new midsole foam, as well as there's no speedboard in the shoe, which for the most part is proving to be a popular choice for On, as some of their later and more popular models have no speedboard. Now, the Cloudrunner 2 is a stability road running shoe. I will say though that the support or stability in the shoe is pretty mild, but more on that later in this review. And I would say the use for the shoe is probably best suited for easy runs, kind of short to medium distance in length. And with that being said, let's get right into some of the basic specs on the Cloudrunner 2. Stack height, you're looking at 31 millimeters in the rear, 21 in the forefoot for a heel to toe drop of 10 millimeters. My men's size 8.5 weighs in at 9.25 ounces or 262 grams. Now, in terms of fit, I went true to size, and I gotta say this shoe is very roomy and accommodating. But rest assured, if you have a wide foot or a high volume foot, the shoe is probably going to work for you. And if the regular width doesn't, I believe it is available in wide widths, so there is that option for you. In terms of the upper, there's nothing weird going on. On usually crushes the upper game, and this shoe is no exception. Breathes just fine, no weird lace issues. The tongue and heel collar are very padded. And for those of you wondering, yes, the insoles are removable. Then if we move along to the midsole, On is using their Helion foam, and On midsoles in general are getting quite a bit softer. I'd say this one is more so on the medium end of things. It's definitely not going to be ultra soft on the cushion scale, especially in the forefoot, as there is only 21 millimeters of that stack height. And then another thing about this midsole is there's no more speedboard in the shoe, so I think that has added to the overall softness of this shoe compared to the first version, and it's also made the shoe quite a bit more flexible. When I first picked up the shoe and put it on, I didn't know that there wasn't a speedboard in it, and I took my first few steps and I thought to myself, wow, the speedboard in the shoe is way less stiff than in other On shoes. And I felt that because this shoe doesn't have a speedboard. I think overall that was probably the right decision to leave the speedboard out of the shoe. It's still supportive enough, soft enough that I feel like the shoe probably does better without it, and it's also quite a bit lighter than that first version. Overall, the ride of the shoe is decent. To be honest, you're not getting a ton of energy return out of the shoe, and that's not really the point of the shoe. It's going to just be your daily basic trainer. If you're looking for something that can really push the pace and have a lot more performance to it, you could certainly look at some other On shoes like the Cloud Surfer or the Cloud Monster, or especially the Cloud Monster Hyper. But if you need a workhorse of a shoe that can handle anywhere from like 5K all the way up to 25K, the Cloudrunner can definitely handle it. I will say for most of us, we probably wouldn't want to go much further than 25K. I think some of you might find the cushioning a little bit lighter for those ultra long distances. And then to address the support of the shoe, on the On website they say that this fits into the stability category, and the Cloudrunner 2 doesn't have any traditional posting. It's not like other stability shoes on the market. There is this heel clip that runs along the back of the shoe, and that's providing a decent amount of support. And then another thing about the shoe is it's quite a bit wider than some of the other models, so that in and of itself will just make it more inherently stable. For myself, I almost always run in neutral support shoes. I tend to find stability shoes a little bit too supportive for my foot type, and I found the support in the Cloudrunner 2 to be mild enough that I had no issues whatsoever. Then if we move along to the outsole, gone are the days of getting stones stuck in between the cloud pods or in the channel. On has totally filled this in, and for the most part fixed the issue of having space in between the cloud pods, and they've been able to fill all of this space in while still making the shoe lighter than the previous version. And then in terms of traction, it looks like you're getting rubber on all the high impact areas. I haven't ran on wet pavement yet, but this rubber does look like it's textured or grippy enough that there wouldn't be any grip issues. And another thing I almost never bring up in a shoe review, because honestly I'm not sure it matters, which is the aesthetics of a shoe. But I gotta say, the Cloudrunner 2, especially in this colorway, is so nice. It's going to be hard for me to continue running in this shoe just because I think this shoe would look so fantastic as a daily shoe. I think this version as well is kind of like Boston Celtics colorway for all you basketball fans out there. And that's actually what I did with the previous version of this shoe. I didn't find the first version of this to be quite runnable enough to be a staple in my shoe rotation, so I dedicated it for my daily shoes. Well, now with the Cloudrunner 2, I think it's a much more approachable and runnable shoe compared to the Cloudrunner 1. And going forward, it'll just be, like I've said 5 to 25k easy runs for myself. And then the shoe easily doubles as going out and running errands or whatever you're out there doing while looking good. Lastly, price, you're looking at 150 US or 190 Canadian. And I think that's going to be it. So overall, if you've been in On shoes in the past and you found them to be not quite supportive enough, I would definitely take a look at the Cloudrunner 2. It's quite a bit softer than some of the On models of past, and it is going to provide mild stability for you. And if you're a neutral runner, rest assured this probably isn't going to be too supportive for your foot type. And if you have any questions about this shoe, leave your comments down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.